Good evening to everyone, and I'm Ruchira Banka. I'm the Principal Educational Consultant in Shiminli. I carry a strong vision of bringing in importance of contextual learning to the education system, and hence I'm happy to host this webinar, Bringing Context to Learning. Thanks for taking out time to join this webinar, and this brings us together a community of educators who are like-minded and carry the idea of taking that one step towards a better education system. We've come together on this platform provided to us by Shiminli. Let me introduce Shiminli to you. Shimin is a Japanese word that means citizen. Shiminli is an edtech platform that aims to create global citizens. Shiminli provides skill-based programs to school students with a belief that students need holistic education to shape up as resilient, confident individuals who are ready to prosper in the real world. With a vision to create these future-ready citizens, Shiminli provides lessons to students that focus on development of life skills and academic skills with professionally trained teachers from across the globe. To spread these ideas, we plan to host today's and many more such webinars. And to begin with the learning that we look forward to today, I would like to introduce to you our esteemed speaker, Mr. Percy Alevia. He works at Fountainhead School, Surat, as a designate MYP coordinator. His areas of excellence are self-management, critical thinking, organizational skills, MYP assessment, interdisciplinary understanding, integrated sciences, language acquisition Hindi, and services action. He is an MYP examiner for integrated sciences and personal projects since 2019. Percy has 6 long years of experience in leading the MYP to a clear understanding of the MYP framework and assessment. Percy has been facilitating at SAIBSA MYP Job-alike sessions, at Teach Meets by Classify and EduChat. He has been invited by various IB schools to conduct workshops on interdisciplinary understanding, assessments, critical thinking, and many more. We are related to have Percy to share his experience and expertise on why and how contextual learning brings in a meaningful setup in a classroom. Before we begin, I would request everyone to just put your full names in the chat box so that we can issue the certificates post the session on these names. And the stage is all yours, Percy.
Thank you. Yeah, so a warm welcome to all. As we know, the topic of the today is contextualizing your learning. During this session, what we will be touching upon, we'll be touching about how to contextualize, because it's important to understand how to contextualize, then only we can contextualize a concept. And it's important to contextualize a concept if we want our learners to take back to their lives what they learn. Why to contextualize? Like I said, it's important because if we contextualize a learning for the students, a concept, then definitely the takeaway will be almost more than what a normal delivery would give. Where and what to contextualize? Definitely this is important, as if we don't know where and what to contextualize, then you cannot like deliver, as the facts, some facts you will have to give straight away. Everything cannot be contextualized, otherwise again you'll miss the bus. Some strategies to understand how we can contextualize and why is it necessary to contextualize. So just touching upon how to contextualize, I'll be posting a link over here. We'll start with examples. So I'll be posting a link over here. You can open that link. So I guess I'll have to just Ruchira, can you post the Nearpod link which is there on the slide?
Sure.
I think because of the download, it's not come on.
I'm unable to see a link here.
It's there in the speaker notes. I've got it.
This is the image source.
No, it's a Nearpod link. So everybody will have login to that.
Okay, got
I'll
it.
be
Got it.
presenting over here also.
I got
Yeah.
it. I'll post it right away.
Yeah. So please log in to this, everyone. Any help you need in this, let me know.
Oh, this looks nice. Have to join the game, is it?
Yeah. So I've shared the game link. Yeah. So here we have there. Subhash and Prabhash.
Mr. Subhash, would you be comfortable joining the link?
Network issue is there, but I will manage, madam.
No.
That link is not at all opening.
Okay. I tried maybe some network issue at your end. Mr. Prabhash, will you be joining the link? Okay, maybe then
Better.
we can start.
Hello.
Yeah.
Let sir to continue, madam. Just whatever we will observe it.
Sure.
Let him explain what are all there,
Sure.
because time you don't waste.
Okay, Percy, you can start maybe.
Ruchira, you can play on behalf of all of us.
Okay.
And
So the first question is, which is the right selection of environment to impart contextualized learning? Okay, we'll move next. What is the right motivation to be contextual? Meaning, when will students be interested in learning? So just for the information of other participants, If you would be a participant over here, you will be finding yourself climbing a hill, and that's why it's time to climb, it's shown. So like how just now you're seeing on the screen the questions and the results, that's the host screen. Otherwise, the participants like Ruchira ma'am must be having, it's now she was be seeing that she's climbing up a hill. So if there are more the participants, the one who answers quickly leads the climb. Who is your target audience?
Power company selling up its sales.
Yeah. So basically, why I have taken up this examples is because it's important to understand that contextualizing does not just mean that we just give a random example. We need to bring the concept to the local level as well. Because if we will talk something to a student, so it's just like example, if I am wanting to buy a motorcycle and the salesperson is trying to sell a car, then it's not going to work. How will we contextualize the concepts? So the first step is we need to learn about the learners, the learning gap, and the learning styles. Again, like I'll quote you the example of we thinking to buy something and moving into a showroom. Then the first thing that the salesperson will pitch is for, say for a refrigerator, then they will ask how many members in the family, what is your daily requirement, how much capacity you need, how much is your budget, any specific brands we are looking into it, because that will narrow down their presentation. So that will contextualize our search. Similarly, in learning, when we are teaching a concept, when we want to contextualize, we need to learn about learners. We'll also find this, why it is important as we go ahead. Second is learn about how does industry showcase the concept or accept from the concept being taught. So what are the industrial expectations? These days we always read in newspapers, need in media and other resources also, that it's become important to make education as per the needs of the industry, especially the university education, the higher education. Why? Because what we learn at universities need not be always applicable in the industry, in the real life. So it's important to understand how does industry or expect from the concept being taught. Today, like there are too much of auto we have like in our school also you must have experience, like we have a mixed bag of teachers, some who are like still being of like who are from the old school, they might be still going for conventional resources, but then what happened with those teachers during the COVID online teaching, it was difficult for them to come to the such platforms and understand and practice teaching online. So it's important reviewing the learning resources. Today, if we have simulations in our learning engagements, then it becomes easier to present or to teach in the classroom the given concept. Contextualizing learning engagements. So the context that we want to touch, we need to bring the learning engagements which can help to deliver that context. We cannot deliver a learning engagement which will not connect with the context that we want to touch. Why to contextualize? Any responses from the members?
I just still see the first slide, Percy.
I am presenting it from the participants only, this downloaded version only.
No, it shows the Google Slides being presented.
For child's perspective, it is very much helpful, sir. I mean, just a child, he is familiar with anything. You are connecting to your that situation. If you are connecting to that dealing for that particular concept, child enjoys learning. Because of that, we have to contextualize the things.
Yeah. So first is that it allows to engage us with the child. So I mean the child can engage with the concept that we are teaching, right, Subhash?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because always,
That is one way to look at it.
I mean, experience, whatever child experiences are there, those becoming context to understand other concepts. It is very much
Yes.
required. I mean, child experiences, we are leading to introduce new concept to understand that child.
So these are few examples where you will see that contextual learning, why it is important. So we know that all religious texts have always contextualized its teachings. May it be Mahabharata or other Quran or anywhere, we have examples where the teacher, wherever there is a talk about a teacher, when Arjun was being learned the warrior skills, or even when Krishna was preaching, we always found that there has been a context in all the learnings. Similarly, if we look at the development of human civilization, whatever the inventions have been made, they do have context. If we see at the invention of fire, then primitive man had a context, had its need for its shelter, for its safety, for cooking food. Stage ahead, if you look at the Newton laws discoveries, again, Newton tried to find the context when he saw why did the apple fall from a tree on the ground. So any invention also definitely will be successful or will be possible if we contextualize our concepts. Beyond humans, in any living form, contextual learning becomes important. A tiger would teach its cub to hunt a prey, but not to feed on grass, because that's the need. Similarly, a monkey would teach its infant to climb and not to run. Which means contextualization is not a concept of today, like I say, but exists since long in various forms and various levels. What I mean by various forms and various levels I mean by in any living form it's present, and form is for understanding anything, whether it's for inventions, whether it's for understanding the mythological history, context is important. Are we okay with the flow? Any
Yes, sir.
questions till now?
Yes, sir. Just if we are going
Okay.
with one of the example, it helps us, sir.
Sorry?
If we are going with one example in dealing one of the concept, it helps, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we will be coming up with examples.
Okay.
We'll be coming up with strategies, we'll be coming up with examples.
Okay.
So contextualization helps students to see how the material they are learning applies in their lives. Teachers can encourage students to take interest in their work and develop a deeper understanding of the concepts in the students when they are studying. So the examples now will be followed. So there are various ways to contextualize your concepts. You can connect it with current events and news stories. You can use examples from students' own lives or the lives of their family and friends. Connect with other subjects as well. Like said, the first example, where I was talking about current events. So we all are these days reading about the cheetah relocation from Namibia to India in MP. So we can touch this while teaching adaptation in sciences. Because Namibia is a South African country. It's a transcontinental movement. And the progress of the lives of this cheetah depends upon their adaptation to the environment, to the climate, to the ecosystem where they have been shifted. So today only, like in morning, I read the news that they made a first kill today. So until now, since around quite for a long time, they were being fed meat in their cages, in their quarantine areas. Today it was the first that they made a prey, a successful prey. Because the prey animals available in India would be definitely different from those available in Namibia. So that also the cheetah needs to adapt to it and understand for it. Second is examples from your students' own lives. So we do practice this as well by in our own school. While studying energy, they can be asked to tally energy bills and look for ways to reduce the bills at their homes. So this will definitely, they will come up with very lovely solutions like creating solar power or using the timers in their homes in home lighting. Today we have too much of automation also in home lighting. So that is also they do come up. They come with counting of the power that each of their gadgets will use. So they count based on the labels that are on the gadgets. On each of our electrical gadgets, say it microwave or the refrigerators, we have the consumption mentioned. So all that they use, they connect, and they even question their parents that why they have bought this brand or why they have bought this when they can like settle up with some lesser consumption gadget. So they also understand those 5-star labeling, 3-star labeling of white goods under this. Connect what you are teaching with other subjects. So like if your schools are IB schools, and if you're, then you must be aware that IB has a lot of emphasis on this aspect in its curriculum itself in MYP, where it is teaching IDU, that is interdisciplinary unit. This is what IB's aim is, because through teaching IDU, it definitely helps the students to connect with real life. So like the example itself says, in English, if I learn writing and note taking skills, then those will help me to write, say, in history or a science report of the experiment that I have performed. So that's how you can contextualize learning the concept. So the concept being taught over here in the first example is adaptation. You can also connect those adaptation concept with the movement of child for higher studies when they are moving from to some other foreign countries. Then you can say that you will have to adapt to that environment. So you can connect them with there also. The second concept over here in the example is energy. So they're contextualizing why we need to understand energy. Because if they'll understand the consumption and all that aspects of energy, they'll definitely come up with buying those gadgets which will consume less energy and bring down their energy bills at home. And
Yeah,
third,
exactly.
as
I can also
mentioned,
add one example here. When I teach mathematics and we talk about statistics, that becomes a very heavy topic for the students initially. But when we connect it to their real life situations, for example, we talk about the T20 matches going on right now, and maybe post every over there is a statistical representation of how the players have performed, both from the bowler side and both from the batting side. So that's where the students are able to connect, and that clearly shows their excitement into learning a particular topic, because they would definitely be able to understand those scores, those statistics, and then be able to
yes,
brag about it with their friends and all. So that gives them a clear context, and then in simpler words we can say clear reason for them to study this topic of statistics itself.
so after each over, they show projected score. If they score six,
Yeah.
how much and all that. So that definitely, yeah, that is all completely a statistical analysis. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Ruchira. Moving ahead, you can use real world examples like what Ruchira has shared. That's a real world example in itself. What I have quoted here is when you teach carbon cycle, you can tell them the reason behind the climate change, global warming, the greenhouse effects. Those are the real world examples, and those are the resultant effects of the uh, use of higher fossil fuels, which is ultimately a part of carbon cycle. These days you can connect with even the propaganda about the EV, the electric vehicles that is being done. And the main point that they teach, their touch over there is the CO2 that you have less produce. Even in the ads, even in the cars, that data is always published that you have a carbon footprint, how much you have reduced by using the EV. You can assign small projects. So in our school, this again we have done where we have taught them ecosystem conservation. Under that, they have understood the sustainable development goals of UN, and they have created a Miyawaki forest in a small, it was a barren land, but today it is quite a good forest. For that, they required funds, and that they also like generated from campaign and other things from the school community. Also, their school management did contribute some part, but they did also get it from the school community. I shall show you the video of how the children did it.
They understand that deforestation and climate change are related and severe global issues. It is really bothering us. We aim at taking up deforestation as an action for our issue by using the Japanese technique of Miyawaki forest. But this would require a lot of funds. Moving 60,000, we have managed to get the land from our school, but for raising funds, we need your help. Hence, we are pleading.
So these were grade 6 students who did this action last year. So are you clear with Subhash, the examples now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
Yes, sir.
so last year, yeah. So like I have mentioned here, thank you. Last year they created this Miyawaki forest, and now when they have moved into grade 7, to understand the importance of habitat, they were asked to create nests for different birds and small dog houses within this forest itself. So when they created those nests, automatically the birds also started populating that forest. Till that, the forest was not that good populated by birds. But then when they created artificial nests and placed them within the forest, the population started increasing rapidly. So it's automatically creating a new ecosystem by its own, where first the plantation came up. Now the birds have also started populating it. So that is how they have understood how the habitats are created, or how the cities are created, how the villages are created. So the initial project was not aimed at doing this. The only stage that we wanted to create afforestation. But then when they moved to the grade 7 from 6, the grade 7 teachers thought, let's take the advantage of the forest that they have created by themselves to understand this habitat and adaptation. So then they again made the students aware about it, and made the students made beautiful nests, like something which even the birds don't make. So they made the bottle nest also like a weaver bird, and they all placed them within the forest at different plants, and the birds started coming in. So why is it necessary to contextualize? Contextualizing the curriculum will help students to relate their studies to their lives. Like we discussed, for example, understanding adaptation. Now they can easily understand while they will take even when they move to high altitude tours. Like if we want to travel to Leh Ladakh, then we need to acclimatize 2-3 days by staying at our rooms. We cannot just move out, because the various factors like the temperature, the oxygen concentration, all that our body also needs to adapt to it. So that makes them more engaged. Whenever they understand that whatever they're studying is going to affect their life or their friends' life or their family lives in one or the other way, they'll definitely be motivated to learn. And the inquiries will also come. You'll get lovely inquiries also with that. So just to summarize, contextualizing will allow students to learn, practice, and evaluate their skills and competences. So definitely the research skills, the inquiry skills, the critical thinking skills, the literacy skills will grow, will develop when you will contextualize a concept. It will allow students to pose problems and develop solutions by themselves. It is something like project-based learning. So if we go for project-based learning also, these days many of the boards are emphasizing on PBLs, because that allows to contextualize what I am learning. I should be able to apply and implement in my life. That is what the industry is also expecting at higher education levels. It allows to understand the importance of the concepts in their life. It helps to learn complex concepts better easily. So just for example, the ecosystem that they developed, adaptation as such would have been difficult for them to understand. But when they went to Miyawaki forest, they created their own nests, own houses. And when the population started coming in, they were able to understand at the favorable conditions, the lives will reproduce, the lives will habitat those area where they can get shelter, where they can get food, and where they can multiply. So now it's your turn. From your curriculum, I want you people to share where and what would you contextualize. You want to share here or you want to type in? We have a sharing platform also. I have the link is there again. If you can share, Ruchira, and the speaker notes. So You may speak it out, but these are some tools also. So I have tried to incorporate few tools like Neopod is one. Subhash, you are saying something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Whatever concept we are having from LKG to 10th or 12th or higher classes, we had to context. If we are contextualizing, students they take very easily and they understand better. For example, if you are taking that one of the concept uh, addition, it's lower classes. I'm telling. I mean, just I'm a principal one of the school. Just we are doing the exercises. I mean, we are taking them out and just with in mud, then addition, subtraction concepts we are introducing. I mean, just with some pebbles and that type of things we are using to introduce. And why we are doing all this. And again, we are taking introducing that we are taking to shop. One of the child we are taking that shop, and there we are introducing just addition concept, subtraction concept, multiplication concept. You see one biscuit pocket we are taking, again we are taking similar to 5-6 biscuit pockets. There we are using how many biscuit altogether. If we are asking, there we are using multiplication concept. I mean, just this type of things. If child we are introducing, so many concepts. I mean, visiting post office. You see, so many concepts we are going to introduce when we are visiting agriculture. Same concepts are there in textbook, but child don't know whatever going on in his house. If you are bringing that one in, child know all those. But that one child, I mean, when we are bringing textbook there, child becoming helpless to express all those because of this conceptualizing I mean gap. Teacher also now don't know how to connect those two. That here they are failing, and they are facing lot of problem to convince that particular concept. This is very much required, and you've taken higher end concepts, but people, everybody just they need whatever going on surrounding. If we are introducing all those, it helps them to enjoy your webinar. You've done very good job, sir. It is very much required, but no schools. Just I'm myself worked in Azim Premji Foundation as a math resource person. Just you see, you see any concepts are there, whatever book content is there, they are taking direct. Teacher don't know how to convince it and connect it to day-to-day life. It is a big gap because teacher we don't know, and how to the child. Because there is
I think he has got a network glitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, he's brought in some very beautiful examples where the little ones are
Yes.
actually bringing in learning into their daily routines, buying biscuit
So exactly
packets or things like that.
like
I
he said,
mean,
the normal mathematical concepts of Bodmas, that's the addition and division. So we see every day they must, our housewives or the mothers working on how to deliberate on managing the kitchen budget. So we had this one learning engagement in one of the social sciences class also once, that the students were asked to understand how the budget is being managed, the home budget is managed by their mothers at their home. So how do they run from 1 month? Because with today, we see again in the newspapers, you can connect with the real world examples over here also. We see that the inflation rates are affecting the daily home budget because there is no hike in the income, but definitely the expenses are rising almost fourth week.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
sir.
exactly we need to bring certain concepts. A very good, concept that you brought about is inflation. So if you look at any of our textbooks, that would not talk about inflation at all. And this is something very important for all our kids to know. So if we try to bring the context of inflation into our teaching learning of methods in, say, mathematics itself, then it really makes sense to the students that, how to get into their career streams also. So giving them this direction would come in from us as teachers putting in effort from a very younger age into their lives.
Yes.
Yes, madam. It is very
Yeah, I
much
think,
required
you got
because
disconnected, but I was really talking about the wonderful examples that you've brought in, and how you've been taking it with your school students by the textbook teaching is something that still continues, and I don't know till when will it continue, but it really doesn't give them a reason on why am I learning this.
So, like I said, I was talking before also, I could have also taken this reflection. Maybe there would have been more participants also, then also allowing each one to talk would allowed me to take the reflection over here as well. But again, just bringing context to why I added the tools, because tools everybody will know, but then the context is we want them to be used. We want
Exactly.
we want them to make the classes also interactive, so students will also enjoy with new additions. Normal way of teaching, if we'll change, we'll tweak from little and bring in the advances that we have in the work, students will also learn that. So the Nearpod also is something like we have other things also. Kahoot is there, Quizlet is there, but Nearpod, again, the user interface is interactive where they feel like they're playing actually a game. They're competing with their peers. So that allows them to get the interest.
True that.
Yeah. So this is my references which I have touched upon apart from my school's material. But I guess your network is you, so you can
Yeah.
type instead of sharing through voice.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Subhash, are you here?
present. Just sorry for I have been saying because of that I'm having problem with network.
Okay, I'm sure you have network issues at your end, but if you could type in your school name, and we would definitely want to be in touch with you and discuss certain things of importance like this, in the future. You can also connect with us. You have, received our email yesterday, and you can connect with us. Yeah,
Yeah.
Percy, is there anything else that you wish to share? I think that's been a very clear
Yeah.
limelight to bringing context to education system, and beautiful
Yes.
examples that you've brought in, where I could clearly see that if you have brought in context, the students are able to take it from one level to the next level also year on year. Their example of that forest that you took about, and then that led to, talking about habitats, such a beautiful way of taking learning outside the classrooms. We all have to know that we have to go out of the textbooks. We of course, the system is that where we have to complete certain portions, we have to look in for the assessments and prepare students for the assessment, but at the same time, if we have been able to give them
Yeah.
a context for this
So
learning, I think they are at the right track
we
then.
we every day have a like almost it's a daily fight with the teachers of different subjects, that how and when will we complete the curriculum, and the other subject team is taking the students for a field trip. But surrendering to all those requests, we still continue with the field trips and guest lectures in a way that almost so we have an 8 day boarding school, but even from that day boarding school, at many times there used to be 4 or 5 hours spent in field trips when they go. So we take them to different industries, we take them to different so if I talk about just in Hindi, Hindi as such being a second language, students will not have the interest in learning that subject. But when they're doing an in unit of leisure and traveling, we just take them to a floral garden and let them spend their time, take selfies, take pictures. So then definitely they were unable to connect with the concept of leisure.
Exactly. I think
So
true.
it's not big always that we come up with big ideas. Even such small things will definitely help, like shared by Subhash.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Percy, I think on behalf of all the participants and Shuminli, I would like to thank you for throwing light to this such an important concept of contextualization that we all really need to learn, and we need to bring in these little examples into our classrooms, into our daily lives when we are connecting with students, when we are talking to them, maybe sometimes over a lunch table itself, giving them context of what we are learning, why we are learning, and how do they bring that to their daily lives. And I hope that there has been a learning for everyone present here, and we take this to our classrooms and take students beyond our classrooms as well. We look forward to many more such sessions with you, where we talk about different concepts which would be throwing some light of how to improve our teaching learning practices. And thanks to the participants, Prabhash and Subhash, for being here, for taking out time, and Subhash for actively participating in this discussion. There are a lot many ideas that we learned from you as well. So we would definitely love to be in touch with you and talk about how Shuminli supports this learning in the classroom and taking learning beyond classroom by development of certain skills which are crucial requirement of the learning process and crucial requirement of survival into our professional lives and personal lives as well. So let's keep in touch, and we would catch up with you all very soon then. Thank you so much. Thank you, Percy.
Welcome. Thanks a lot.
We'll sign off now.